Alright, welcome back to another NovNov technical project video. I'm back here on my NovNov3 inside of the Docker container, inside of the PHP board, where yesterday we tried to do Docker compose up, and we failed out due to this PHP error. So went ahead and troubleshot some of that, so I can walk you guys through what needed to be changed. If I cat the Docker compose, you guys will see one of the issues was right here we are calling to a specific file because I don't know how to type. But volumes can't mount files, they gotta mount directories. So on the left here is the GitHub repository that has been updated, and that has been changed to a data directory instead of calling the database. So that was change number one. It did fix a later issue, but the issue that we saw is if we go into the Dockerfile, if I know how to spell, right, really big file. But one of the things that gets tripped up often is going to be escape characters, going from Bash to Python to Docker. It can get a little confusing what you're looking for. So in this case, right here, I was trying to pash to bash. I was trying to pash to bash, but I didn't need to. Essentially, this single quote here caused an issue with this double quote here, which caused an issue with this double quote here, and it wasn't just there. It was also here, and here, and if I go down to the next one, here, scroll down to the next EOF, this single quote caused an error with these double quotes, which caused an error with these double quotes, which caused an error with these double quotes, and so on forever. So the fix on that one was a little bit easier. I just got rid of it, so now I'm catting directly into that file from the end of field, which made all of the double quotes work fine. One thing that I did miss my first run through of troubleshooting was I removed the bash and the first single quote, but then I forgot to go down here to the actual end of field, and there was another single quote down there that was tripping it up, so it was essentially just stringing the next bit. So to go through and fix that on all of these, the only other thing that I did in here to fix it goes back to the Dockerfile, and that was somewhere in here. I made that data directory. If only there was like a control F, right? So right here, right? So we had to create the directory because then we put the database in there so that we can mount it with the Docker compose. So that was the hypothetical fix. Let's see if it actually worked, right? So let's go ahead and clear that cd dot dot / dot dot so that I am back at my root home directory. And in here we have that PHP board. I'm just going to remove that recursively and forcefully, and then clone that repository again. I know there are other ways to work with GitHub and to be more efficient in this, but it's NovNov, and I like messing around. I like being a little messy in my lines, especially in my own time, and to get a little bit of practice. Yeah, just got a scam text. Someone's trying to get my money. Like I have any. Alright, so now I'm back in Docker. This would be really cool if this works, because it's supposed to just go. So we didn't get the PHP error. It actually started to run the Dockerfile. I still need to I still need to deal with the version. I don't know why I keep putting that in there. But it is running through and updating. I am going to go ahead and give it a second so that it can process the Dockerfile entirely, and then we will return. So the next bit will be sped up. Alright, so it should be working. It says couldn't use the server fully qualified domain name, use internal IP address instead, but we don't want to use the internal one because we want to get to it from our host. So the server name directory, that's a hint for anybody that wants to fix that issue. So I'm going to go back to just my browser over here, and I'm going to pull the IP address from my droplet, and I'm just going to go ahead and go directly to that register page that we had looked at previously. And so here we've got a register. I'm going to go ahead and throw a new user in here, and this one we're going to call Chester Malort, named after a cat, named after an alcohol. And then I can go ahead and log in as Chester Malort with the super secure password that I gave it. And now here we are. I have a really bad habit of giving NPCs in tabletop role-playing games unfortunate names when I try and improvise them. Chester Malort is one cat. Names of cats I've put in TTRPGs like Dungeons and Dragons. So I already told you guys, Chester Malort. We also have Nina the cat. This is a pretty standard one. I'm not my best work. There was a cat named Gravy, who the person had gotten it since they were young, and so I thought it'd be smart to name that cat Baby Gravy. Yeah. Post that message in there. The app still works. One thing to be in mind is that this is an index.php, and I did not put an index.html in there. So if you take a look at the files we created index.php, login.php, register, logout, post, delete, init, dib, but we do not have an index.php or HTML. So it will always come here. That's a pretty easy fix. If you want to redirect from an index.html just directly over to the index.php, or you could just redo it. Anyway, that is all for today's NovNov technical video. We will be back again tomorrow with a little bit more, or some might say, a little bit less.